This episode of Capesandlunatics Sidekicks is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Parrott, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks Podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
No evil shall escape my sight.
but those who worship evil's might.
beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast. I am Phil. Joining me as always, Master of the Core, it is.
I'm Will. Hey, everyone.
And last week is not a parent, it is.
Well, don't jinx me, but it's Matt. It's Matt.
I was going to say, man, hey, if you're watching this live or if you're listening to this back, man, I mean, Matt Coda's baby could come at any second.
Yeah.
Although by the time this actually hits the podcast, well, it usually hits like 2 weeks later, Will. I don't think she's going to be going 2 weeks. And better news or not. Kona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already on bed rest, kids.
I am in my bed because my previous podcast studio has been first taken over by Baby Room, and my wife's sisters are coming to visit to help with the baby. They've been here since the 28th. We're recording on the 4th, so I would ordinarily be recording from the living room, but I'm not sending them into the bedroom just to hang out for an hour plus, however long we're podcasting for. So,
as a married, I mean, they were never here for that, but as a married man and whose wife has 3 older sisters, I get you. I get you.
However, as getting ready to become a new parent, mother-in-law or mother and sisters there to help take care of baby, that's 2 thumbs way up.
yeah.
Play some zone defense, not man on man, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about you, Phil, but I know when we had the boys, you know, we were there Saturday morning. She had the boys. We went home the next day before noon, and I was like, "You're sending me home with the? Is there like an instruction manual? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, you're really sending me home with these? I don't know what's going on here. You know."
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, my wife, like I said, she has 3 older sisters, so they had all had kids previously. So my wife had plenty of experience changing diapers and doing all that stuff. So it was like, you know, I kind of had an expert with me. So,
well, it really made me question the professional judgment of the doctors and nurses. Like, you're sending babies home with me. What is wrong with you? You know?
Oh, and they'll probably. Yeah, like I said, Luca was born on like a Tuesday night. Like he came in at like 11 something, so he was so close to being the next day. It was a snowy Tuesday night. Yeah, then we went home Thursday morning. But yeah, Coda, they'll probably low jack your kid while you're there. Yeah, they put like a little. I know at the hospital they put a little, ankle thing on them so no one can walk off. And they locked that. They locked those wards, those maternity wards down. Man, they don't let you. You can say, yeah, I'm so, I'm here for so and so, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen too many TV movies with crazy
movies of the
person
week, right? Yeah,
walking out with the baby, and yeah, you can't even hold them in the hallway. They have to be in a thing or on a wheelchair. You know. So yeah, I'm not worried about the security, but I'm interested in the whole experience. So. We'll see.
There was talk early of tattooing the boys since they're identical twins, you know, and we stopped short of that. But of course, it would have been, you know, the Quasar symbol and probably a Green Lantern symbol. You know, they might not have liked that, you know, as they aged. So, you know,
they go through the silver and then the gold age.
Yeah.
So they're identical.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
One is left-handed, one is right-handed. Is that always the case with twins?
Well, they're mirror image twins. I think the boys are mirror image twins.
Oh.
But I mean, they're kind of ambidextrous. Mike favors his right more. Alex favors his left a little bit more, but they both do things with both hands. So,
wow.
But it was really interesting because we were like, I can look at old pictures of them now, and I'm like, at the time, I knew who was who. Who is that? No, I don't remember for sure.
Yeah.
So take that. Always label your pictures. You will forget.
I thought we were back to always label your kids.
Yeah, always label your kid. Get out the label maker.
Yeah. Hello, my name is.
Nah, you got this, Connor. You got this.
You got it.
Yeah.
Lots on the job training, but you'll get it.
Yeah.
Hey man, at least you're having a girl, man. You know, you're changing diapers. You know, it's gonna be harder on you. Trust me.
Right. Yeah.
But not impossible, I'm sure.
No. I'm sure.
But Will, we had to dodge and weave.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Pew 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 pew. Appropriate for Star Wars Day today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a segue.
Yes, we are recording on Star Wars Day. Yes, may the Force be with you all.
Yeah.
I think didn't the Bad Batch premiere today? I haven't
watched it, but yeah, I believe it did. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't. I was at a comic book store. I was gonna grab maybe just like a random Star Wars issue because I forgot. So just to be festive, but I kind of forgot. I flipped past one in a bin, and I was just digging up on some cool old stuff, but I did not get a Star Wars book, unfortunately. But
oh my God, yeah, but yeah, the baby wasn't born on Star Wars Day. You can't name her Leia now.
no, or Ray.
Oh my God, can you imagine if you named her Ray? You know who? Oh my God, Ray would think you named her after him. He would be, he'd be over the moon.
I would expect a large shipment of Vegemite as thanks if that were the case.
Sounds like
friend,
man.
Ray is from Australia. If for some reason this is your first time listening. But,
yeah.
Gobble gobble.
And of course, my all-time favorite now.
I love Batman.
Get well soon, Ray. Get well soon.
Yeah.
He's in Arkham, Australia, down under.
Yeah, he has a cold or a virus or something, doesn't he? He's not feeling good.
Yeah. Oh, well, Lil's pointed this out because this happened the last time he talked Batman with me and her. He talked Batman with me like a week or two ago. Now he's sick again. So yeah, that's a Lil feels like every time you talk Batman, you get sick.
Yeah.
He's got Conchu's revenge. But yeah, me and him are recording Sunday. Matt, if you want to send in your feedback. I'd invite Will to join us for the Scarlet Spider episode, but it's like 7:30. Yeah, 7:30 a.m. and Will doesn't believe it.
There's a 7:30 a.m. I defy you're punking me. You're punking me. There is no such thing as 7:30 in the morning. There can't be.
Well, if it makes you feel better, it'll be like 9:30 at night for Ray. So
yeah. And it's only 8:30 for Will, right? But
no, that's right. No, 7:30 here would be 6:30 for Will.
6:30 for me.
6:30. Oh, never mind. Yeah,
that surely can't exist if 7:30 doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's true.
It's preposterous.
Yeah, you want to get up at 6:30 on a Sunday, don't you, Will?
No.
I did. Speaking of the Scarlet Spider, one of the books that I pulled out of a bin today. I forget what it's called. It's like a Scarlet Spider journal or like a clone journal or something like that. But I haven't looked at it yet. But
it wasn't the Osborne journal, was it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Or is it like the Jackal Files, maybe?
I don't know. Let me see if I can dig it up. Talk amongst yourselves.
Jackal fouls. It's just like the jackal, like his fouls. It's like, there's Mary Jane Watson. Hubba hubba.
So, while he's looking for that, any good comics this week?
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, Green Lantern #2, I guess, came out today. But again, I get it on Wednesday because I'm not making 2 trips to the comic store. But yeah, Green Lantern should be out. It came out today, #2. So next week.
All right. Can you see it?
Oh, the clone.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
The Clone Journal. Yeah.
Interesting. I know. I got heard
one
of that one.
shot. Yeah. And I got a Spider-Man guest starring in Khazar the Savage.
Oh, nice.
And this is a really old, beat up The Flash.
Oh,
wow.
That's Barry Allen, man. That's original Barry Allen. Yeah.
Death of an Immortal.
Is that late 200s, early 300s? What's the number?
Yeah, it's 215.
215.
Wow, early 200. Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yep. So
nice. Oh my lord,
maybe I'll bring the stack to the delivery room. We'll see.
Yeah.
that kid's in for some bedtime stories, man.
That's right.
I was gonna say, is Gail like sick of you like reading comics to her belly?
I've read a couple of short books. I offered to, but was rebuffed.
Do you guys
my own choices? But
do you guys try any music?
We do have some Disney comics and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you try any music? Because I know when Danielle
we've played.
Yeah, like she played music on her laptop, and like she could film Kick every time she played music and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, we definitely like played music just sitting around, but I don't know about the kick into the rhythm or anything. But
oh Lord, just the things that baby's heard in that household. That baby's gonna come out and be like, "Hey, who's here? Who here's from out of town?"
Try the veal. Yeah.
Try the placenta.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's some recipes out there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's people who actually do that, man. Ugh.
Yeah. I'll have pasta the regular way, please.
Yeah.
Oh my. But did anybody watch Invincible? The finale was Friday.
Not yet. We haven't even started it. We're kind of in the midst of a few other shows at the moment. So
yeah, it's 8 episodes, but they already renewed it for season 2 and 3.
Oh wow, cool.
Oh, that's good. That like news like that sort of gives people who might be on the fence about, like Will was saying, so many of us are just watching multiple shows. You don't want to get sucked into a show and then have it be one and done after a season or two, and then be like, well, why even start? But knowing that it's going to go 3, some incentive.
Potentially more, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the animation's really good. It looks just like the comic, so it's
cool.
Yeah. And the cast, you look at that cast list, basically everybody in that cast. J.K. Simmons is Omni-Man. Nice. Again, I said before, I'll say it again. They typecast him with that mustache.
Well,
yeah.
If you got it, flaunt it. So.
That's true. I guess they said, I don't know if they're doing like a live action movie of that too. But I mean, you look at some of the stuff they do in this animated series, like how the hell are they going to do that live action?
Yeah.
Because I guess, if they did it in Man of Steel, because I was going to say, man, they did a lot of property damage in that finale.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, with CGI and the way they interact with CGI now, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. I was just watching The Flash, and one actress was playing 2 different characters. Yes. All right. Should we get to this issue if we tortured Will enough?
That's right. I got to get my ring.
'Cause I was going to say, I got the synopsis. It's like 6 paragraphs or so. I was going to say I can like read a paragraph. We could stop and talk about it.
That sounds good.
All right. So yeah, Green Lantern Ganthet's tale with the shiny logo.
And before you get started,
Embossery.
I read that this was the first comic-sized DC graphic novel. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but
nice.
There it is.
That's cool. And it was written by a predominantly known as a novelist, right? A sci-fi
Yep, Larry Niven.
novel writer. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's some notes. Remind me when we're done. I want to read some of those notes. Very interesting. All right. So, Green Lantern Ganthet's Tale. Writers Larry Niven and John Byrne. Penciler John Byrne. Inker John Byrne. Colorist. Oh, great. He let someone else do it. Matt Webb. And
yeah. It's just a 3-man team, right?
I'm surprised this isn't on the this isn't on the DC Universe Infinite app. I'm like, why? It's not a Gerard.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Gerard Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Byrne. They have plenty of his other stuff on there.
Baby Byrne.
It's one shot with a cover date of November 1992. Ganthet. All right. So Ganthet tells the story of the Guardians of the Universe in their early days. The Malthusians were an advanced race who used their intelligence and powers to study nature. They were forbidden knowledge of only one thing: the origin of the universe. Unfortunately, one man, Krona, became obsessed. Krona, kids, not Kona. Krona became
or Corona. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. Avoid that corona. Corona became obsessed with observing the event. He created a device that allowed him to view a hand, setting the universe's creation into motion. When he attempts to see the face to whom the hand belongs, a bolt of cosmic force shattered his device. From Krona's mistake.
I didn't do nothing.
I know. You didn't look at the beginning of the universe. From Krona's mistake came the force of evil. Of course, Ganthet says this story is a lie. Who's this? Maury Povich and Krona. Yes.
And you are not the father of the universe.
The lie detector test. Yes, and that was proven to be a lie. All right, so thoughts on that so far?
That's like the first page, right? 2 pages or 3 pages.
I know, that's the big paragraph. It's like, what is it? Like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's like the first 3 pages.
Yeah, I think the Byrne.
I mean,
Byrne art is good.
They made it like an epic burn, a slow burn for Byrne.
Oh yeah, they burned them, of course. All right. So here, let me do the next one. Hal Jordan wakes to find Ganthet at his door, claiming that he is needed for the rescue of an entire race.
Yeah, with a spiffy tie on, might I add. Yeah.
Dressing up all fancy. They fly to
GL logo on there. Yeah.
Like a boss. They fly to Ireland, where Ganthet explains that what humans call leprechauns are actually an offshoot of the Guardians, and they are now threatened by humanity's urban sprawl and civilization. They follow a trail to the last stand of these people, but they have fallen into a form of barbarism. The leader of these people seems disinterested with Ganthet's invitation to join the Green Lantern Corps, but a much older man called Percival suggests to Hal that he wants to join. Ganthet is doubtful, considering Percival's age, but a strange experience forces him into action, and he makes the old man a Green Lantern. Aren't the Guardians like thousands of years or millions of years old?
Like billions, right?
Yeah. So who's Ganthet to be like, oh yeah, you're too old? Show me someone older who's older than you, Ganthet. Nobody.
And I think Percival appears like in the DC Trinity series.
Oh, maybe.
And then like one or two, he appears like 6 total times. I think I saw when I was reading up on this earlier today.
But it wasn't one thing of that. It's like, leprechauns are an offshoot of the Guardians.
That was pretty funny.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, besides Burton, did they ever mention that again, Will?
I'd say what?
Did they ever mention that again about them being, leprechauns being offshoot of the Guardians ever
No,
again?
they just have Percival show up again, as far as I know.
I mean, leprechauns are associated with green. So.
True.
That's true.
True.
Very
true. Together, the three fly into outer space as Ganthet explains that what they experienced is an anomaly in time and space. He tells the story of how he himself had recreated Krona's mistake, but had not suffered the same fate because he did not believe what he saw. Instead, he used an image of the young universe as a reflector onto the truth about the Malthusians. They were a violent people who were not as godlike as they claimed to be in the legend. Ganthet explains that the origin story was a fabrication by the Guardians to mask their most vulnerable moments from enemies who would attack with time. Unfortunately, Krona's crime was not unleashing evil in the world, but the effects of his efforts to see the face of the creator caused him to connect the end of the universe with its beginning, and the entropy from it drained nearly 1 billion years of potential energy from the beginning of time. Oops.
Sorry.
Thinking the beginning and end of time. Is that going to come back at some point, Will?
Perhaps, in a loop, maybe time loop,
or some renegade. When he gets to his 0 hour.
0 hour. Sorry.
Ganthet begins training Percival, explaining that the threat they face comes from a family of former Malthusians, Dalakis Pokpok and Owen.
Oh yeah, the naming of the kids.
Names, yeah.
That's, I mean, that name I had to say, kids. DAWLAKISPOKPOK.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you nailed it.
Looks like one of them Australian names.
We gotta give some nicknames or something.
I think she calls him Dolly, doesn't she? DAWLY or something like that.
Yeah, shorten it down. Make it nice. Make it really nice to say.
That's just a really nice page.
Yes, but he was an Owen married to a Zamaron and their 2 children. They're suddenly attacked by Dalakis Pokpok's children, Arthian and Doran Chatok. What is this, Klingon? Percival was taken out early, having not trained enough. Hal uses a new technique, flying at extremely high speeds and firing his ring behind him. The resulting Doppler shift causes the green light from his ring to shift to yellow. And Dornok.
I don't think this has ever been used again.
I mean, shouldn't that work? Changing the color to yellow. It's like they have, isn't that?
Well, that's just assuming it's a flashlight. That's normal light coming out of it. But instead of being willpower, energy, whatever.
Is this a big enough threat? Is that really the Doppler effect turning that yellow, or?
Oh, this is pre-parallax. Oh wait, no, it's
he's in there. He's
parallax. That's true.
He thinks the entire universe is about to be destroyed. Is he like, no.
We're gonna fix this.
I didn't mention. I mean, I didn't notice it. I noticed Ganthet's tie and the Green Lantern symbol on it in the beginning. I also just noticed, flipping through it now, that it changes like every panel is just like a different.
Oh yeah.
Design every time, and
it's a Rorschach test on his tie.
Yeah, maybe it's a mood ring for ties.
It's like a green energy construct. Is that what we're saying?
I think so.
Yeah, and then later he just doesn't have a tie. Maybe Byrne just got sick of
keeping it up.
Yeah,
it's a mood tie.
Yeah. It's like no one's gonna notice this for like 39 years or whenever a video podcast comes out about it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
29 years.
So the ring shifts to yellow, and Doran Chetok's Green Lantern ring is destroyed. Even so, Hal is taken out by Darth Arthian, and he and Ganthet are captured. Locus Pokpok reveals that he is the one who created the fabricated universal origin, and that he intends to remove it in order to prevent Krona from linking the beginning with the end. He intends to thrust Krona into the entropy at the end of the universe in order to prevent him from trying again. Oh, geez. Is that all? Percival returns to consciousness and attacks Doran Chatok. After a lengthy battle of wills, Percival tricks the boy into flying straight through his father's ship, which disrupts their plans. Instead, the entropy enters the ship through their devices and consumes Locus Pokpok. Thanks to Ganthet's quick thinking, he and Hal were saved from the entropy. But Hal was aged significantly. Locus Pokpok's wife, the Charchura, I think you could get that at Chipotle King. Realizes that
it's a buck extra though.
Yeah, and it's on the hidden menu.
And again, I can make fun of these names because they're completely made up. Yes, the wife realizes that it was not Krona who linked the beginning and the end of the universe, but it was they interfering as they were then. Ganthet restores everyone's youth by transferring some years from his own life onto them. Oh, and so Hal gets some Guardian energy.
Wonder what that's going to do.
And Parallax says, and Thalwar Charchura and Doran Chatok are taken to Oa for trial. Afterwards, Hal Jordan has reservations about the trustworthiness of the Guardians when their legends are based on lies. Wait another 25 issues. They're going to be like, our trustworthiness.
True.
Yeah.
So, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Did either of you guys think that this ended kind of like just like Star Blast abrupt? You know, just like done.
Especially for something that's like 65 pages, you know, it's sort of. I mean, they were. It feels like, especially with Niven's fleshing out some pretty heavy topics, you know, that it would either build to a more satisfying conclusion, or obviously lead to the possibility of something else. I mean, I know this is a one shot, but yeah, I mean, it almost was like kind of reminded me of one of those TV shows from the 80s where you're so invested in it, and then at the end they're like, all right, well, all in a day's work. Freeze frame, credits, you know. Yeah.
Again, it seemed like, they wanted to like, look, there's a big secret. There's a big secret. Here's the secret, and we're done.
Yeah, and we're done.
Right.
Although in the notes, let's throw this in there also. All right, first, the lie, quote unquote, is effectively the pre-crisis version of events. Because this retcon, because of course this is after Crisis, so we had the retcon Krona's great crime, because instead of linking the end and beginning of time pre-Crisis, he created the antimatter universe. So with this in the multiverse. So instead, since at this point DC had no multiverse, they had to retcon it and say, oh yeah, he just beginning and end of time and killed a billion years.
Exactly. But, you know, the antimatter universe has appeared post-Crisis because Guy went there with Gnort, right?
So I'm guessing no multiverse, but there's just an antimatter in a pot. Well, they kind of have to have an antimatter because, like, people still remember Crisis, but they don't remember the multiverse. It was just like, oh, yeah, we had to fight the, the anti-monitor in the antimatter universe. There's no other universes.
That's right.
That was such a mess. Oh, and of course, the greatest note: Hal would later use his knowledge of the beginning and end of the universe being linked in 0 hour in his effort to reboot reality. We'll get there.
And I read somewhere else too that a lot of people like to put this as the beginning of Hal rebelling against the Guardians. You know, the kind of the origins of Parallax here. I don't know that I buy that because it's just so abrupt. He never deals with it. You know, he just says, "Oh, I just need to think about it some." Okay, great.
But it's just weird. I mean, I know it's a great crime that, you know, a billion years was basically robbed from the universe. But does it really change anybody's life?
Yeah, I mean, the art was good, and I think it was entertaining. I mean, Byrne was, you know, definitely still top of his game as far as the art goes.
Oh yeah, Byrne's art was great. Yeah,
but I feel like, I don't know, it felt uneven to me. Like it could have been paced out a little bit better, and we could have gotten more of a resolution than what we got. It, you know, honestly, after reading it again, and you know, 29 years later, as Matt says, I don't know, it doesn't hold up for me as well. You know, as I remembered it being better. So I don't know if that's my fault, you know, or its fault, but.
Well, yeah, no, doing the reread. I mean, yeah, the pacing is a little weird, and it's like, I don't know. It seemed like they spent a lot of time on the Leprechaun thing, and it's like you thought that was going to be a big thing, but all it basically did was give us Percival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have leprechauns living on Earth. Okay, great, and they're actually guardians. Well, Malthusians.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And then
and you're destroying your planet. Stop doing that. Well, we should have listened to that 30 years ago, but whatever.
Yeah, and they also skip over a lot of Percival's training. It goes from like one page to be like, oh, and now he's all fully trained. So it's like, but that was something that Hal Jordan was doing in the other book. You know, in the lead up to that, he was specifically training and recruiting new corps members. So it would be a little interesting to see someone, especially of his unique stature and background, especially if he's descended from a guardian. It's almost like Undercover Boss in a way. You know, it's like learning the ropes of what it's like to be a GL, and I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe like they wanted to, if this was their first time doing a comic graphic novel as a company, maybe they wanted to just kind of shove it all in there, maybe before it was really fully cooked out, especially with, and like there's a little Larry Niven's bio at the end, but you know, he's obviously an accomplished writer. Like maybe this would have been better as a paperback book, which wasn't uncommon at the time, you know, to do like a novel, just a novel, a short novel adventure or something like that, with some John Byrne art maybe. But then I feel like that there could have been a fix to some of the pacing issues and fleshing things out some more. I don't know.
Was this the first time you'd read it, Matt?
It was. Yep.
Well, what's your overall? I mean, what grade do you give it?
I don't know. I'm leaning like a high C+, a B-, maybe. You know, but I think the artwork goes a long way, and I did appreciate there was some fun elements to it, but it just seemed that Ganthet himself wasn't enough of a likable character to me. It just sort of like he came to get Hal Jordan, get his help under somewhat foggy pretenses, and then just ends up in a, well, we're hostages. What are we going to do? Well, I guess this brand new leprechaun-related character is gonna kind of turn into Gimli of the cosmos and help us out, you know. But there were action sequences, even if they never got used again, like what you referred to earlier with shooting the ring backwards and somehow being able to kind of harness the yellow power, which you would think would be on the cannot be done list for a lantern, but maybe that's why it cannot be done again. I don't know.
I really feel like they were trying to give the Green Lantern concept a lot more kind of a hard sci-fi grounding, as opposed to the fantastical, and explain away some of those fantastical elements. But I mean, we are going to get, we're getting Emerald Twilighted in 2 years, and that all goes away, and then we have I don't know how many Universal reboots until finally we get to Rebirth. So I don't even know what universe currently we're in, and I don't know what universe we just read about. So.
That is the weird thing, because it's like really, I mean, except for the whole Corona thing, you really don't mention anything. I mean, like you said, Percival shows up again, but it's like you have like these proto Guardians on Earth. After Emerald Twilight, why didn't spoilers? Why didn't Ganthet go to Earth and try to like evolve or something? But we never hear about them again. It's like, and then
is that Malvolio's ring, Hal? Sorry.
Oh my God. We'll take care of that in Emerald Twilight, crap. But no, like, and then when they pull an aim from Quasar, the daughter's at the end of this issue, and I don't think we ever see her again.
Yep.
After she swears revenge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's still planning it. It's a dish served very cold.
Very cold, like icy cold.
She survived the last couple of reboots. Yeah. I mean, like I say, is Parallax will care of her off panel somewhere.
Yeah, but there is definitely. I mean, you kind of alluded to it. Just straight sci-fi and a little straight fantasy go into their origins, where it's it seems like it could be in a Tolkien world or something, with a little bit of but on a different planet aspects to it. So there's not enough current day Green Lantern. What I don't know, something that I think would draw the readers. I mean, just the presence of Hal Jordan, I guess, would do it. But it is sort of like. And it's like a holodeck episode of Next Generation, to a certain degree. Yeah.
Well, one thing that I did like was the Zamoran. She says, "Their Green Lantern Corps, that makes them militaristic and prone to violence." Like, okay,
yeah,
that's kind of cool. I like that. That was, a criticism of the Corps, because that kind of makes, especially. As we move forward, they become more militaristic. But I mean, at the time it was, at the time DC was really pushing Green Lantern, and it's strange because I don't think they had ever really done that before, and they didn't do it again really until Rebirth, right? And we got that really slow build to everything that happened after Rebirth.
It just seems so weird because, like, we'll see in these upcoming issues, like this next 2 years, it seems like they're building the lanterns up, and then all of a sudden Emerald Twilight hits, and it's like, boom, we're getting rid of the Corps, we're getting rid of all these other Green Lanterns. There's going to be one Green Lantern now, and it's like, okay, one Guardian. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, at the time that this was published, there are 3 Green Lantern books, if you count Guy Gardner, right?
4 if you count the quarterly book.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're rocking the Green Lantern books right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's sort of why, like, they were just trying to strike while the iron is hot. That's why it felt a little abrupt at the end, or a little rushed in some parts. But
I've heard them say it's like they did the whole Kal Rayner thing because the sales on the book weren't that good. Do you think maybe, just going with the main Green Lantern book, Hal was there, you got the Guy Gardner book, you had the Mosaic book, like you said, you got the quarterly book. Did they kind of like spread their audience too thin in too many different directions, maybe?
I think that's really a valid criticism. And I don't know. I feel like that there are things. I know Jones wrote about it, right after Emerald Twilight, that at some point he and his editor were just not getting along, So it was. Yeah, I think we saw the quality of a lot of and when you get right down to it, he was in charge as the writer on all these books. He was the Green Lantern universe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the Green Lantern corner of the universe. So when I think maybe the quality started, or people got tired of, his take on it, because that's a lot of his stories to tell with really not a lot of other people, getting in that corner of the universe to play. So, I don't know, but what DC did was really drastic and kind of unheard of. Well, certainly unheard of at the time. It's one thing to replace your character. They've been doing that forever, right? Captain America, Tony Stark. You can go on and on and on.
I mean, I think the whole Kyle Rayner thing, I think they were hoping to do like another Wally West, but it's like Wally West had been Kid Flash for decades before he took on over Flash. So everyone's like, okay, that's the natural evolution.
Well, and Barry went out as a hero.
Exactly.
He didn't stick around as a villain, which was kind of another thing that was just kind of crazy. Like, wait, you're doing what to a character that
has been a hero since 1959.
Yes, it's been a hero that long, and a lot of people seem to really like, at least enough to keep the book going, for that set amount of time. But we're gonna, bye. We're starting clean and breaking, and I don't know. It was a very weird time to be reading Green Lantern.
Do you think
we'll get more into that later, though? I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you think they wanted to like really, punch it home that it's like, yeah, Hal's not coming back, so it's either like we make him a villain or we kill him outright.
Mm-hmm. And they did both, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he kind of got his heroes, he kind of went out in a blaze of glory.
Final night, yeah. Then
Blaze of Night rebooting the sun, yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just very strange, because he's never coming back, Bucky, sorry.
Oh my God! I heard an interview with what's his face, Brubaker, who brought Bucky back. Like he said, he was a fan of Bucky since like back in the day, and he like brought Bucky. He wrote the story to bring Bucky back, and like he was all worried the fans were going to hate that story. He was like, "Oh my God!" He's like, even Stan Lee didn't bring him back in the '60s. He's like, people are going to hate me for doing this, but yeah, then it turned out good.
Speaking of, Matt, have you caught up on Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Oh yeah.
Almost. I had a half hour today to start the last episode, so I haven't seen the last half of it. I tried to watch it before this, but
No spoilers from us then.
Cool. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, it's
but
it's gonna get really strange in over the next 2 years of Green Lantern issues. That.
Oh yeah.
I guess we'll compress down into. It'll be the next few months, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think by the fall maybe we'll get the Kyle. So, like that stuff. Yeah, because what did I say? Emerald Twilight was like episode 34, I think. So yeah, we're about 20 weeks.
About 4 months, 5 months. Yeah,
5 months. Yeah. So
cool.
So yeah, about October probably. Yeah. Okay, some of the weird things in this issue, again, maybe it's like we're talking about the pacing things, but on the last page, they say those two are going to go on trial, like a joint guardian, Xamarin's trial. And so we never find out what the verdict is.
Yeah, we just know that the verdict will be final.
Exactly. Is that death? Is that banishment? Is that imprisonment? What is it?
Go live with the leprechauns. Sorry.
Yeah.
And if you imprison them,
you'll never get that pot of gold.
Oh. And then like the cover, you get all those Green Lanterns. I mean, basically the only Green Lantern we get is Hal Jordan, Well,
Yeah, no octopus Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's a beautiful book. Don't get me wrong. You know that foil on the cover, the art, the colors. It's really really nice looking.
Oh yeah.
But it's just kind of strange, because it's put out there as kind of a reboot of the entire foundation of the Green Lantern concept, right? The origin of the Guardians and everything.
Well, again, too, it's like a reboot of the Corona thing since Crisis,
which is the DC universe, right? But at the end of the day, it's referred to in Zero Hour. It's referred to probably in the DC Trinity crossover, which is deals with the Legion and the Dark Stars and the Green Lantern Corps. But it's kind of just it's this weird little thing that's out there all kind of by itself.
Well, yeah, it's like the Action Comics Weekly. We keep referencing the one issue, but nothing else really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but and then where's that? Is that Ganthet thumbing through one of Hal's Playboys?
That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah. What does he refer to it as? He says it's like some sort of primitive archive or something like that.
Yeah.
But I love how Hal's like, I got to charge my ring, and Ganthet's like, oh, I can keep your ring charged the whole time. He's like, no, I like the ritual,
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Again, it makes sense. It's like, what if these two get separated? It's like, oh, guess what? Your ring's out of power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's true. That's like it's like a computer program being like, this automatically saves, but you're just like, I think I'm gonna do the old Control S every time.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, if they really wanted to go humorous, it could, Ganthet would have been like, yeah, I can keep your ring charged, and Hal just like sticks his ring to Ganthet's head. It's like, yeah, you're going to stay, and black is
Yeah. With all the power he's wasting, changing his tie every 5 minutes.
That's right.
I don't think he's going to be that reliable.
We never. This was. I don't think Niven was ever really involved with DC anymore after this, and
I don't remember hearing his name anywhere else. Yeah,
and I don't think Byrne ever returned to Green Lantern that I know of. Right? Not.
I think not in any meeting. I mean, if he did, it was probably like maybe a one shot. I don't know if he even did, but yeah. Well, I mean, this was the point too, wasn't he? Hopping back and forth between DC and Marvel.
Mm-hmm. But this
I was a little bit surprised that when they did the little bio on the back page, that they mentioned Byrne's work in the Fantastic Four, just because I feel like one company wouldn't mention the other. They're just like pretending. They're very aware, and as is the reader. But it's like if you're watching the WWF and the WCW at the same time, even though wrestlers would go back and forth, you would never hear their past accomplishments acknowledged on their present employer.
Well, Byrne did. He had a run on Wonder Woman. He did stuff like Doom Patrol. He did the Jack Kirby Fourth World stuff. He did a lot of DC work.
But he did Marvel too, because he did Fantastic Four, West Coast Avengers,
Alpha Flight. I mean, there's so much. He's done so much work for both companies.
The Hulk.
Yeah. I mean, it's just strange that this is pretty much the only Green Lantern I think that he did. Green Lantern may have showed up in like the Batman Superman Generations or something like that, but it wasn't a Green Lantern book, right?
Yeah, not in continuity. Yeah. But and hey kids, some of Byrne's West Coast Avengers have gone up in value because he was the one who had the Vision ripped apart and put back together as White Vision. So
nice.
Oh my god, that's the funniest panel. I forget what issue it is. Is it 45 or 46? Just U.S. agent like yelling at Vision, "Put some clothes on." So, anything else on this? Again, the art's great. Just charging his bring and stuff.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
and that panel, the panel where he's flying backwards and firing his ring, I still remembered that from reading it all. That's kind of cool looking,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think Matt made the point. It's like, yeah, the art bumps this story up a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the art wasn't great, would we be more focusing more on like some of those dangling plot threads and
Yeah, and it's something that I guess it's weird that it's something that affects really the core foundation of the DC universe at the time, but it doesn't really change anything for anybody. It doesn't really get referred to. It's not promoted as this foundational change in the DC universe. Hey, here's a Green Lantern book, right? Then it's kind of forgotten.
I was gonna say, I wonder if that's because did Gerard Way not want to touch stuff in this story, or is it just 2 years later we're
He's gone.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be Kyle. And
I don't know. I mean, but they do refer to it in Zero Hour because Hal knows of it. So
yeah,
they didn't completely forget about it, but it's just weird. It's just a weird kind of makes you wonder, how did this come to exist? Because it's such a weird, different thing that doesn't look like one of these things is not like the other. Here is Green Lantern Ganthet sailing, like, where the heck did this thing come from? Why does it exist?
Okay, here's a question for you, Will. Since you've read so much Green Lantern, do you think like the character, even like the franchise, really didn't get the respect it deserved, at least until Jeff Johns took over? Just because, again, it's like the Action Comics stuff. We hardly ever mention anything from that except for Kat Matui. We hardly mention anything from this except
Ganthet.
like in the beginning and then the time in Zero Hour. It's like
yeah. Well, I really think Emerald Twilight got this book a lot of press. Got Green Lantern a lot of press, and I think that Ron Mars did a really good job writing Green Lantern. Kyle for an insane number of issues.
Yeah,
but I feel like Emerald Twilight tore away a lot of the really cool and unique things that I loved about Green Lantern, and not just how. I'm talking about the core, the history, all of these things. And
I mean,
we got something.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, do you think they kind of like did those changes, then brought the whole Kyle thing just because they were trying to make the character more relatable? Because like he was more earthbound than Hal and the others were.
Yeah. Well, I think it was probably calculated that they wanted to jettison all that, heavy backstory, that. All about the Oa being the center of the universe and blah blah blah, and all the sectors and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely a huge jumping on point.
I feel like we got it was a good book. I mean, the Daryl Banks on the art was awesome. And Mars did a really good job on the writing. We won't talk about the fridge part until later, but
till we get there.
Yeah, till we get there. But I feel like they made him more generic in doing that, by stripping away all those things.
Basically, we just made him superhero,
Yeah, just a superhero, not a a science fictional kind of construct like we saw in E.E. Doc Smith's The Lensman, or which have a huge influence on the Green Lantern Corps, from the 50s, before when they debuted. But I think Mars, and it's been a long time since I've read this, so I could be wrong. Don't anybody throw things at me. But I think we see Mars after probably the first year starting to slowly kind of drip feed a lot of Green Lantern backstory concepts and things that were associated with the larger core and all this great science fictional backstory. He starts kind of drip feeding those things back in, and finally after 10 years and what is like 130 issues, something like that, plus the Circle of Fire crossover, plus all that other stuff. I think then the time was right for Rebirth to happen, and then in the interim you had Hal doing the 0 Hour Parallax villain thing, plus then you had Final Night where he sacrificed himself for the sun, and then he becomes the becomes the Spectre. I feel like that was like somebody was drunk and said, "Hey, let's take this. Here we go. Do that now."
But yeah, I mean, maybe that was the formula for Mars' success, because it's like you basically take the concept down to zero. It's like, okay, this dude gets a ring. Okay, nothing else.
Yeah. Got a battery and a ring, and there you go.
Build up from there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing, to reading those issues again, because at the time I was like, they just took away my favorite hero and turned him into a villain. So I was definitely invested at that point. But I do question the me of all those years ago, because some of these books stand up and some of them don't. So it's
see if you're still that same brash young man who's going to tattoo his kids.
That's right. I'm still going to do that now.
Yeah. So, final thoughts, Mr. Kona?
Yeah, hit us, man.
It did not feel like work to read. It went by pretty fast for like 65 pages, and I enjoyed the artwork, and that's about it. I mean, my criticisms are noted earlier, but it was a. I like one shots and little detours from the norm, and it's cool to talk about it, especially in a historical context of where Green Lantern as a book was in the DC universe at this point in time. And you're like, wow, there was a lot going on, and it's kind of cool that they trusted them to. They trusted Green Lantern as a character. I mean, I know Nevins and Byrne were not as regulars on any of the books at that point anyway, to try to do something new and different. And you miss 100% of the shots you don't make, and this was decent enough. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, you think maybe they were like looking, they were like, okay, let's give Niven and Byrne a shot. Niven's a science fiction writer. Byrne, he's writing Fantastic Four for how many years? Let's see what they can churn out. Maybe there's something we could use here. And I guess, maybe for the most part, they're like, yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah. Leprechauns.
Yeah. Leprechauns.
Ties.
Yeah.
and green power construct ties. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this was all part of the historical context of Green Lantern that gets us where we are today. With a new series getting launched, last month, and number 2 coming out this week of the new one. So you're right. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and there's a lot of shots that they hit in the intervening 3 decades almost.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, agreed. Cool. All right, so yes, next week, another one of Will's favorites, Green Lantern 26 through 28, Evil Star. Utterly ridiculous. And then in 2 weeks, Green Lantern Corps Quarterly number 2, Green Lantern Mosaic number 5, and Green Lantern 29. The toys, man, the toys.
toys. It's always the toys. He gave me his bone. Sorry.
Oh! Oh.
I love that.
He gave me his phone.
That's just so awesome.
And then,
Not a fan of Guy Gardner, but that he gave me his bone.
oh yeah, then in 3 weeks, Green Lantern Annual 1, because that'll be the Eclipsa, the part of the Eclipsa crossover all the shows are doing here, and then Guy Gardner Reborn 1 through 3 also in that episode.
Cool.
Lots of good reading to do.
Heck yeah! So get reading, kids, and send your feedback. Russell, Ray, anyone whose name starts with R. Email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Sector 2814, The Green Lantern Podcast, on Facebook, on Twitter. Follow us on, go join Book of Oa, our Facebook fan group. Trying to remember, I think we might be approaching 400 already.
Well,
Wait, we are at, as of this recording, 356 members. So yeah, please go join us there. Find links to all of the social media for all of the shows. Links to our this YouTube channel. Let's see, Matt Kona laughing sexy in bed. Links to the Patreon, lots of more stuff coming there. Links to merch, links to everything, all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And please remember to support the sponsors, Tweaked Audio and Hunt the Killer. Use the code Southgate for both of those for a discount.
Yeah.
And go pick up Pod Life the Book, Volume 1, now in digital paperback, audio version coming soon. And you get that on Amazon. And when you go on Amazon for anything, or if it rules your life like a little hellfire, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help support this show, the network, and that crazy leprechaun man, Rob Master Doom South.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. Why did your eye drift over to my box?
No, seriously, I don't know if you saw today on Facebook, Little Hellfire is like, oh, that feeling you get when you know the Amazon guy's not going to show up today. It's like, oh, man. Just so spoiled. All right, Matt Kona. Which hospital can people find you in?
Oh, we're not going to do it in a hospital. We're going to do it in
the streets.
In a barn.
Oh!
Sure. No, you can find me at Matt Kona. Maybe I'll tweet or Instagram out some baby pictures. We'll see. Well, maybe you'll see them by the time you're listening to this on iTunes.
That's right. That dog's gonna be like the midwife.
Yeah.
All right. Will Allred, where can people find you and Crossover Division and Diary of Night?
Well, you can find me at Wallred. That's at WALLRED at Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all those places, and Gmail. You can find Crossover Division, which is the latest book by myself and artist Pablo Martinena, letterer Brant Fowler, and I won't name all the editors at this point, but we have editors and they're really great. And then you can also find Crossover Division, which is, find Diary of Night, which is diaryofnight.com. So crossoverdivision.com, diaryofnight.com. And if you like Quasar, which all discerning comic readers of excellent taste do, then you can find all kinds of cool information about Quasar at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
Oh, man. I forgot to play a drop for Kona. Okay.
Suck it, Lilith.
All right. No. Get a Will one.
They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
Star Blast, the gift that keeps on giving.
Boy, the party? I love the party.
All right, kids. Drops and drops and drops. All right. Thanks for joining us again in 1 week. Evil Star. Starling. Little start. Yeah, thank you for joining us. That's right. David may be coming in a moment. All right. Join us next time. And remember, don't look at the origin of the universe. Please, oh God, do not tattoo.